Taylor, Mitchell, Martin.
Got there. Thank you, Mr President. I rise to speak on the Portfolio Committee number 6's report into energy from waste. The inquiry canvassed a number of issues which I would wish to highlight today. The committee spent some time looking at the New South Wales Environment Protection Authority, the EPA, and the role it plays regulating the waste industry. During the hearings, the EPA noted that the waste industry in New South Wales has many professional and highly organised stakeholders and associations that want to do the right thing. And they said that the vast majority of stakeholders in the New South Wales waste industry are law-abiding and committed to ensure it remains innovative and sustainable. However, it also said that the opportunity for profiting from unlawful activities means that there is a persistent criminal element in the waste industry that is both agile and difficult to neutralise, and I couldn't agree more, Mr President. The committee heard that the EPA is Australia's leading environmental regulator, which is supported by its strong prosecution record. In 2016 to 2017, the EPA had 103 successful prosecutions and $2.4 million in penalties imposed by the courts. This is in contrast to Victoria's EPA, which in the same period had only 11 successful prosecutions with just $175,000 in court-imposed penalties. This is in addition to the penalty notices that the EPA issues that delivers a faster regulatory response, reduces pressure on the judicial system and the cost imposed on government. And it is transparently reported on the New South Wales EPA's public register. Mr Deputy President, the committee spent some time inquiring into the Mangrove Mountain landfill site located on the Central Coast. The inquiry found that landfilling at the site began in 1998 when Gosford City Council issued a development consent for a minor redevelopment of the Mangrove Mountain Memorial Golf Course. In 2001, the New South Wales EPA issued the site with an environmental protection licence. The licence has since been varied on at least 13 occasions, and the site operated as a regional waste facility, licensed to accept general solid waste until May 2014. Mr Deputy President, this site sits on the catchment of the Ourimbah Creek, which supplies water to both the Mardy Dam and Mangrove Creek Dam. I know that some in the community have genuine and well-founded concerns about the presence of this landfill near the water catchment area, particularly because of how this landfill began its life to use excess building material to fill valleys and voids in the topography of the local golf club course, and it's clear that that is not its current use. Nevertheless, I know the committee found that there are significant concerns amongst locals who have seen this piece of land be used in a very different way from when it was first used in the mid-90s, Mr Deputy President. There remains significant angst amongst the locals of a presence of a fully operational landfill site on top of a creek system in the Ourimbah Creek system. The committee recommended that the government establish an independent inquiry into the approval by the council, the operation of the landfill and the regulatory compliance of the site there at Mangrove Mountain. And Mr Deputy President, I strongly recommend that this independent inquiry be established. The committee also inquired into the illegal dumping, including the prevalence of this illegal activity, as well as the efforts by the EPA to reduce it from occurring in the future. The committee heard that illegal dumpers can be forced to install GPS trackers in their vehicles, as the previous speaker, the Honourable John Graham, spoke about, and that they could be fined by more than $1 million for their actions and required to repay any monetary gain from the illegal activity. Vehicles can also be seized and offenders sentenced to prison. The committee has recommended that the EPA increase the use of vehicle trackers and other surveillance techniques, including drones, to prevent the illegal dumping. And Mr Deputy President, I sincerely and strongly recommend support the recommendation that we use more vehicle trackers in the licensed waste disposal industry going forward in New South Wales. Tracking devices reduce the opportunity for trucks transporting waste to engage in illegal dumping. The use of vehicle trackers would have flagged the EPA that illegal dumping was occurring, especially in the case of the alleged illegal landfill and the dumping at Spencer into the Hawkesbury River system. That would draw the attention of the EPA far earlier, and it would also ensure that the offenders are known to the EPA by these trackers. This report acknowledges that the New South Wales EPA has directed various resources to tackling illegal dumping, including the funds from the Waste Less, Recycle More initiative. Mr Deputy President, Waste Less, Recycle More is the primary initiative funded through the Waste Levy. The funding can be allocated in a number of ways, including by providing funding for businesses that are recycling, organics collection, market development, managing problem wastes such as asbestos, and new waste infrastructure. Local councils and programs can tackle illegal dumping and littering through these funds as well, Mr Deputy President. Waste Less, Recycle More is a successful program, and we're seeing instances of this all up and down the coast. Information and evidence supplied to the committee found that as at October 2016, $292.3 million had been allocated to 822 projects throughout New South Wales, which are expected to process over 2.2 million tonnes of waste and create 840 jobs as that takes place. Mr Deputy President, the New South Wales Government is also funding 100 community recycling facilities across the state, and I was pleased to officially open the new facility at Summerhill Waste Management Centre in the Newcastle City Council area in March of this year. The facility was supported by a $115,000 grant from the New South Wales Government's Waste Less, Recycle More initiative. Community recycling centres play an important role in keeping problem wastes out of landfill and reducing illegal dumping. The Community Recycling Centre accepts the following problem wastes for free: water-based and oil-based paints, used motor oil and other oils, lead acid and handheld batteries, gas cylinders and fire extinguishers, conventional tube and compact fluorescent tube lamps, smoke detectors, e-waste and mobile phones, and needle sharps. By accepting these items for free, communities are encouraged to recycle problem wastes and to help prevent contaminants from entering our local environment. Mr Deputy President, I commend the Honourable Paul Green on his chairmanship of the inquiry into energy from waste technology. The report makes a number of recommendations that may improve outcomes, particularly regarding targeting the scourge that is illegal dumping, and I look forward to seeing more action on that front, particularly by local councils. Illegal dumping is a problem that most agree needs to be curtailed, investigated and prosecuted. I commend the report to the House.